Entering programming screen, you choose manual or automatic mode. By choosing automatic mode, you have 4 storable programs where all the values you will set will be automatically saved. Choose one. If you want your product to be ready in 2 or more days, you need to set days of delay. You can choose up to 4 days of delay. If you want your product to be ready within the next day, you select 0. In the lower part of the screen, you set the time of cycle end in hours and minutes. That is the time you want your dough to be ready to bake. Once cycle end time and days of delay are set, press the arrow and go to the following screen, where you find all the steps of the automatic mode. Steps are blast freezing, freezer storage, awakening or pre-proofing phase, proofing and retarder proofing phase. Blast freezing, pre-proofing phase, and retarder proofing phase can be disabled, leaving only freezer storage and proofing phase as enabled steps, and creating a program of only 2 steps. In freezer storage step, you set humidity and temperature values. Temperature will be set in negative values, and humidity control can be enabled or disabled. When humidity control is disabled, you will read off on the screen. When enabled, you will set desired humidity level. Now freezer storage is set. If you decide to add blast freezing phase before freezer storage, you need to enable it. In this phase, you set temperature and blast freezing span in minutes. After freezer storage, you can add pre-proofing or awakening phase. In this phase, you choose if you want to control humidity or not. Usually, you keep this function disabled in this phase, because inside temperature is now going from cold to warm, and this creates condensation. Here you set temperature value, on average 10 degrees Celsius, where yeast wakes up but does not activate, and timing usually around an hour. After awakening, you set proofing phase, where you can choose between 2 different proofing modes. Linear proofing, where the temperature rise is spread over set time. Heat increases gradually and the proofer reaches set temperature value only in the last few minutes. Or normal proofing, where the temperature reaches set value and maintains this value for the set time. Again, here you can enable or disable humidity control and set temperature value. Here 29 Celsius degrees and proofing duration. Now last phase can be added. This phase is called Retarder Proofing, and it allows baking of multiple trolleys. This phase usually has temperature set around 18-20 Celsius degrees. And humidity level set around 90%. So your dough goes through blast freezing, freezer storage, awakening, proofing, and finally retarder proofing phase, where with controlled temperature and humidity, yeast does not overwork, and you can manage baking of all the trolleys. Pressing start, the machine starts running, and the screen automatically shows freezer storage span in hours and minutes. This time is automatically calculated by the machine according to time of cycle end and current time. Step by step, the screen shows how long each phase lasts. On the chart, blast freezing phase is flashing, and you can see the set temperature of -8 and countdown timer. This means the machine will stay at the temperature of -8 for 2 hours, and you will see the countdown going down to 0. When blast freezing is over, the machine automatically shifts to the next phase, freezer storage, showing his countdown again. Then pre-proofing, colored in orange, and proofing phase. At the end of this step, an alarm rings because the process is over, and if you check, it is the time we previously set for cycle end. Retarder proofing phase automatically starts, and it stays in this phase until we turn off the machine. During blast freezing, freezer storage, pre-proofing, and proofing phase, humidity, temperature, and current time are always visible. Pressing first key at the bottom of the screen, humidity and temperature chart appears. Here there is information about humidity and temperature during the whole cycle. The blue line shows temperature values, and the red line shows humidity values. The second key shows a recap of the whole process, and you can find all the set values step by step. In this program, there is no humidity control, both in awakening and blast freezing, and so only duration is shown. There are no days of delay, and time of cycle end is shown. Here you can switch on and off the light, and this key shows what functions are currently enabled. At the moment, fan and cooling system are working. With the time passing, the countdown goes down to 0 and you see the blue circle slowly turning black. Here you switch on and off the proofer's light.